Hello YouTubers, welcome back to the official Handsome Jersey Devil channel, where we focus on overall health, personal development and coaching, and product reviews of high quality goods. My name is Walter Iniguez and I am the owner of the brand and the host of this channel. Today's episode is going to be on a product review, particularly my product, which is a fragrance that I produce, an elixir to be exact. And today's product is going to be a little bit on oud, but I will be covering most of all my products because my product reviews are going to be slightly different. They're not going to be necessarily focused on unboxing or rating the product itself, good or bad. I will be taking a different approach because my brand is mostly focused on mindset, coaching, personal development. It'll be more on the mindset of how I create my product. But if I review another product, it will be mostly on the thought and process that goes into making that purchase, so that you can be a more mindful consumer as well. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, pick what you can out of it and use it for your next purchase. Or let's begin with oud. Again, keep in mind you can use this information for any other fragrance, any other purchase, or any of my other bottles, as I won't be diving into too much into what makes this fragrance, and rather more focus on the materials and more becoming more a little bit educational when it comes to my approach of this review. We're going to be breaking it down to 3 parts. 1, concentration, 2, materials, and 3, packaging. Let's start with concentration. So I produce my fragrances in elixir. And for those that don't know, elixir, extract of perfume are one of the highest concentrations you can produce in a fragrance. That it's still sprayable. Of course, there's another grade, and that is a straight up oil. And that is the highest concentration. But for the sake of this video, in regards to spray, this is one of the highest concentrations you can make. And the reason I do that is because I am a small business. And one of the things that I encourage other business owners to do, small business owners particularly, is that take advantage of the opportunities you have being a small business. When you're big and you have to mass produce, unfortunately you may not have access to certain materials that are just going to be quite costly. Or you may have to go down to more synthetic materials to allow for a mass production to reach more consumers. As a small business though, I have the opportunity to source these materials. Because I'm not sourcing them in high quantities, I can get away with doing limited batches. That results in 1, lesser waste, 2, a higher quality in regards to the material for the consumer, and for me, allows me to utilize my creativity to produce more and more either content or fragrances in this case. Plus, it allows me to keep it at a price point where it's more approachable for consumers. It allows me to use these materials. It allows me to introduce the consumer to these materials that they probably would have never had the opportunity to experience due to higher production, mass production, and it's a pleasure for me to do that. I enjoy that. So that is concentration. Now let's move on to quality materials. Now this is the materials that are going inside this bottle. I don't do samples, and some companies like small businesses or niche brands will not do free samples just because the materials are very expensive. But we do a sample or discovery set where you can purchase and try out all the fragrances, and then some, not all, will then do a discount code for when you decide to make your purchase. You can reach out to me and we can work something the same, but some of these materials are so expensive, they're so rare and exotic that I can't afford to just give it out for free. But anyways, if you haven't thought about that before and you've wondered why smaller niche brands do that, that is why. And I like to, as I mentioned before, I like to source my materials from all over the world. and wherever they're produced at the best quality rate that you can, whether it be vanilla, cacao, and so on. Ambergris, oud, different variants of oud smell very different from different parts of the world. So I enjoy that. I like to, like I said, go into this journey of discovering new scents, discovering new oils, and seeing how I can make them work, and then reintroduce that to a client and have them enjoy the fruits of, I guess, my labor. And that's really what you're paying for when it comes to, you know, my perfumes, is the discovery of these new materials, is the opportunity to experience these new materials that you probably will never smell again. I have oils from from trees that are just extinct and you can't produce anymore, and those are limited quantities, and so I am very careful with how I handle these materials. And that's the other advantage that you get from being a small business and a small company. And the other thing I want to talk on in regards to material is I use natural materials and sometimes organic materials. Most perfume companies will not do that. Again, it's very, very expensive. For some, natural materials are going to be fine. Your citrus notes are going to be a little bit more affordable, though they tend to go rancid quicker than others. Now, on to packaging. I keep it simple. While I did design this package, I've been keeping this design for over almost 10 years now. It's simple. It's a beautiful glass bottle, very minimalist. That's my approach. That's the way I view, you know, my clothes, my purchases. Get down to the point, put the money where it actually counts. For me, it's the materials. That's where I want to keep it. Labeling is pretty simple, not that complicated. I designed that, and I can go ahead and handwrite. The dates are very important. When it was made, the perfumer, obviously myself. That's important because a lot of people don't know this, but, and I get this question asked all the time, how long can I keep my fragrance? And the reality is that they all have an expiration date, meaning that after a year, you'll notice a deterioration in the actual material and the alcohol actually overpowering it. 2 years, 3 years, you'll notice a significant change from the first time you smell that fragrance to obviously 2-3 years later. So they all have an expiration date. So one of the things that I like to do is produce my fragrances on demand. So as soon as you make a purchase, I like to go ahead and start the process of producing your fragrance. Now, I am putting everything together when you place the order. Nothing is pre-filled and putting it in and then off you go. Everything is made to order. So it takes 2 to 3 weeks for your product to be ready and cured and sent to you. Another thing I like to talk on is the alcohol. Most fragrances use perfumer's alcohol. I don't. I actually use an organic, and I won't give up too much information, but I use an organic alcohol that allows the product to develop as it ages. So this is another reason why I produce my products on demand, is because you're getting a product that's going to start aging with you. The longer you keep it, yes, it'll change, but it'll actually get better, almost like wine. And so I just gave you a little clue of what type of alcohol I use, but just like wine, it'll age, and it'll age beautifully. I have bottles that are 5, 6, 8 years old, and they smell better than when I first made them. And that's because of the mold and how they mold together and how beautiful it just begins to age. I like to make sure that my products and my clients are getting the best that I can produce. Again, for me, if it meant just going to a quick drop ship, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. For me, everything has to touch my hands, whether it's my skincare line, my fragrance line, my small batch clothing line. Everything has to touch my hands. Everything has to go through my approval, and everything has to be done organically and authentically to me. So that being said, I hope this was useful. Again, if it resonates, go ahead and try it out. Reach out to me, email. Go on the blog. I posted a blog post on the different concentrations of perfumes so that you can have that knowledge or carry that with you wherever you're looking to make a purchase. Hope you enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, and share. Follow. Reach out to me via email or go on the website for more written content. Thank you. Have a healthy day.